All right, more progress tonight on the left-hander chassis. Just been working through it slowly but surely, a little bit at a time. Like I said, nights and weekends project here, but still gonna set with my goal. I'd like to have this thing done, well, in about a month. That's been my goal. It's been about a week now, so call it 3 weeks, but kind of reset it to about a month from now, but somewhere in the next 3 weeks to a month, I'd like to have it all assembled, running, and then you're always working on them from there, but at least it'd be completely assembled, engine in it, tranny in it, all that good stuff. But I'll show you what we did here. I think I talked about it in another video. Is I relocated this shock, or actually located this shock, because it was a coilover suspension car. So located it to the center here, remade this upper control arm, located the bottom of the shock to the coilover eliminator bolt, so it's all tied in together. So that's going to work for this side. I have plenty of clearance. I ran it through its travel upward and downward. Just got it tacked in just for mock-up, like I was saying there. So that side is definitely going to work. Now, this side was a little bit more tricky because we do not have the clearance to make a control arm that would go around it. So if I had to make a control arm to swoop out and around it, I think it's just going to be way too big. It was just getting really complicated. So what I did is just mounted it on the outside, did the exact same thing with the bottom, and then just got it tacked up here. And this is just an extra spacer because this is a bolt I had, just to throw it on there. But mounted it here, ran it through its travel. This clearance right here is perfect. It gets a little bit tighter with about 6 inches of downward travel. So we're never gonna have that much, and it's still clear at 6 inches. Upward travel, it just gets more and more clearance. So we're gonna be good, but normally this A-frame or upper is gonna be dropping down. It can go down 6 inches of wheel travel and still be clear, so that'll be perfectly fine. When we're maxed out steering angle wise, this fitting is hitting the shock, which I knew was going to happen. So what I'm going to do is get rid of this fitting here and make a 90 right off of here instead of having a straight to a 90. That will reduce this space quite a bit. So I'll probably just use a straight hose to a 90 about right here. That should clear perfect. So just some more progress. This front suspension, as far as the shocks and coilover eliminators, is pretty much done. I've just got to burn everything in, and then I'm going to move on to kind of mounting the sway bar and getting that set up, clean up my brackets, paint a few things, and really at that point the front suspension is going to be done, other than actually buying the correct springs, or roughly what we think is going to be the correct springs. I want to say that one's like a 350 or 325. I'm not sure what that one even is, but we'll buy some springs for it, get the right springs in it, kind of do final assembly on the front end until the engine is in the car. So some good progress. I'm excited about that. Like I said before, the rear end's all done, fluids in it, 100% good to go. Quick change gears are in it. Everything's good back there. We went through the brake system, bled the brakes, got all new brake fluid front and rear. It's definitely going to need some laps put on it to clean the rust off the rotors that they should clean up. Make sure none of the calipers hang up, anything like that. But they all seem to go back pretty good. Transmission's all set, so it's really finish up this front suspension, then I'm going to move on to the rear suspension. I've kind of got to do a few different things there with figuring out how I want to mount the rear coil. So I'm just going to use coil springs in the rear, no coilover eliminators. So it'll be a spring just like this one right here. Likely going to do screw jacks. Well, no, I'm definitely going to do screw jacks, but I'm likely going to offset the left coil spring in front of the axle. And I think I'm going to have the right one centered just because the way the frame's laid out. I may actually offset this one as well to the rear, but I'll make a video talking about that and show you guys what I'm doing there. It's really, I've got to work and do what I can within the bars and the frame back here and clearance. Ideally, I want to offset the right rear behind the axle, offset the left rear in front of the axle. Definitely going to do the left rear in front. Right rear might be a little offset or centered, or it may go all the way offset. I've just got to really see what I can make happen there, but continuing the progress here. I'm happy with it, one step at a time. Hopefully you guys like this content. Any questions on this type of build, let me know. This is a learning experience for me as well. Circle track racing isn't something that I have a ton of experience in, even though it may look like it. This is just something we've got into recently. My dad's been doing it for like 5 years, but I only raced 5 races and really haven't been overly involved in this stuff. I help him out now and again. I do the motor program, kind of the driveline stuff, but the suspension stuff I normally don't get too involved with. So definitely learning a lot. I've definitely learned a lot in the years of messing with this stuff, but drag racing's always been my main priority. And I kind of want to step back to circle track for a little bit. I really want to get this car out this year, make some laps, and like I said before, set us up for next year. My whole goal with this is to get this car together, dialed in this year, but really go over it this winter and be ready to go for next season, put a full season in and see where we're at. All right, I think that'll be it for tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe.